A regular meeting of the City Council was held in Council Chamber on Thursday, March 8th, 2018 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on March 6th, 2018 at 10:49 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Councilors absent are Councilor Dibble and Councilor Milo. Council President Gerard presided. Councilor Fury moved to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Now I request that everyone rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Peterson. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public testimony. Okay, so we just have 9 people here, and hopefully everybody knows the drill that when you come up to the podium, you state your name and address for the record, and you speak directly to me. None of the councilors can respond to any questions. So first person is Susan Kirby.
Hello, my name is Sue Kirby. I live in Morency Manor at 45 St. Peter Street. I'm here tonight to talk to the issue of hiring of a new city clerk. And fortunately for you, I've written some things down so I don't go off. I just have 5 points to make. The city needs to find the best candidates available to choose the best clerk. I think the taxpayers deserve the best. Not reaching beyond the current employees stunts the city's ability to use this change in personnel as an opportunity to assess the needs of the clerk's office and to hire someone with 21st century skills. I formerly worked as an executive director in a small nonprofit. The hiring process was key in assessing skills needed for job openings, especially in management positions, such as the city clerk. I believe that involving residents as part of the hiring process will help to assure residents of the city that a thorough, professional, unbiased search has produced the best results. And finally, I'm not saying that someone who is an employee now couldn't turn out to be the most qualified. I'm saying we won't know that unless we go through an open process and make that decision based on the facts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Jeff Cohen.
Jeff Cohen, 12 Hancock Street, Salem. I stand in support of taking President Gerard's motion regarding the clerk search off the table and voting down Councillor Sargent's undemocratic order. This is not about a person, but a principle. Whether councillors believe the assistant clerk should be the next clerk or not, making potential candidates in and out of Salem aware can only benefit Salem. Interviewing several qualified candidates can bring out innovative ideas, even result in finding more qualified assistant clerks. While a shop steward for the local 285 in Boston in the 80s, one of the most important initiatives I helped fight for was posting of all positions for minimum times at the facility and in the press to make sure that all interested parties can apply. Another important thing is that any issue of significance with wide impact should be in front of all councilors, not just 5 in a subcommittee. This came up last year, and I know that Councilors McCarthy and Turiel spoke eloquently about this. Have any of the 11 councilors who sit before us, President Gerard, reached out to potential candidates or your constituents to gauge how they feel? This is an important process. I hope you'll consider it seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Christine Ross.
Christine Ross, Pleasant Street in Salem. I'm speaking about the 2 orders to be voted on tonight regarding the vacancy of the city clerk at the end of the current term. Much discussion last week by the council members concerned the high level of personal services that the assistant clerk has provided. However, the most important part of the clerk's job for Salem residents is to support a transparent and broadly accessible voting process. Salem has a recent history of obstructing access to voting. The City Council must take a transparent and professional approach to hiring the next city clerk. The next city clerk should conduct regular outreach for voter registration, offer professional training of all poll workers, provide multiple forms of advance notice to all Salem voters about the location of polling places, hours, and what the ballot looks like. The clerk's role in supporting the basic right of all citizens to vote should be the primary consideration in the next hire. I would like to see the counselors discuss how multiple candidates for this important position might support poll access in Salem. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Ben Winthrop.
Hi, I'm Ben Winthrop, 3 Essex Street in Salem, Massachusetts, and I'm speaking on the same thing as my predecessor spoke to. First off, I'd like to thank each and every one of the council, even though I'm addressing the council president, for all of your service. I know that you guys receive a lot of calls and emails, and it can get heady and obnoxious. And that's not fair to any one of you. You guys do a hell of a lot of great work for this city. But it was alluded to in the last city council meeting that there was some type of email campaign regarding this issue, and I would like to assure everybody that there is no such thing. What there is people who are as dedicated to this city as each and every member of this council is, who have concerns about the past, present, and future of the city clerk's position for good reason. And as we're talking on that subject, as a public servant, and myself in my own capacity, I've served in that capacity for many years now. Perception is everything. And if we do not have a fair and transparent process for selecting the next city clerk, then whoever gets into that position later will be tainted with that for the rest of their career. And that would be unfair to whoever gets appointed into that position. So I thank you for your time, I thank you for your service, and I hope you go ahead with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Tanya Stepachuik.
Thank you, Madam President. I am Tanya Stepashuk from 10 Burnside Street, number 2 here in Salem. And first, I'm just going to say I agree with every single person that has been up here tonight. I am fully aware that the City Council has discretion in the appointment of the city clerk, but I want to remind the council that this position is the city clerk and only serves as the clerk of the council by virtue of the office. So what that means is the clerk is primarily the people's clerk. It's appropriate that we have a voice in this process. I urge you to follow the ordinance passed unanimously in 2002, for which Councilors Fury and Sargent voted for back in that year. It requires a 21-day posting period, soliciting qualified applicants, and strongly encourages creating a hiring committee, including personnel and residents. This is just good government and creates a fair and transparent process that I believe many of your constituents are after. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Judith Riley.
Hi, I'm Judith Riley from 20 West Avenue. I come to speak in support of my Councilor Turiel's proposed resolution in support of early voting, election day voter registration, and automatic voter registration, because voting is the heart of our democracy and one of the most important things we can do. And I would also like to echo the sentiments of the people before me regarding having a transparent, open hiring process for the clerk. So I also speak in support of the motion to untable the council president's motion and to have a hiring committee for the city clerk's position. I think it's never too late to start over, and I think the proper process should be followed, which is one that is open, transparent, posts the job, and involves people, because it is fair, right, and just for the people of Salem to participate in this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Scott Sternberg.
Thank you for this opportunity. Scott Sternberg, 25 Pickman Road, Salem. I speak to appeal to the council's angels and wishes for the best of our city, as we all do. To have an open and fair recruitment process and to aim high. We need to follow best practices and the rules spelled out in our own city ordinances. Hence, I speak to untable Councilor Gerard's motion for a committee to recruit and vote to enact it. A committee to include both members of the council and of the community. If you speak with senior leaders in business, in various institutions, and in government, or you Google it, best practices to leverage the top talent, which we should be aiming for, involves advertising and recruiting from a diverse group of candidates, and not making a decision with only one or two candidates, but having a group to do that, and having a fair and open process. As a senior manager and consultant in healthcare with 30 years of experience, it's common and best practice to openly recruit candidates, even when there's a strong internal candidate. Councilor Gerard's motion for a committee for a fair and open recruitment process for the city clerk position represents such a best practice and follows Salem's own Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 268, advertising and appointment of offices. I ask that you please take President Gerard's motion off the table and vote for good government. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Cheryl Rafus.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Rafus. It's okay. It's always hard. I live at 84 Barstow Street, Apartment 1. This is my first time speaking up here, so forgive me if I stumble over my words or say weird things. I am here because I really do believe that the city council wants what's best for the city, and I think that they understand that the people who come and speak ultimately are on that same page. I really was kind of, as someone who is fairly young and new to this world, was really surprised to hear that we're not following our own ordinances and not opening up the city clerk position to a transparent process that feels really gross and awful and like the opposite of what our democracy stands for. So, I mean, I voted in the election, I voted for a whole bunch of you, and I just would really hope that we would be able to continue to have that kind of transparent space. I also want to support Councilor Turiel's proposed resolution for calling for early voting and same-day registration, automatic registration. Again, same concept, democracy. It's what it's all about. It's the literal foundation. So I hope that that happens. Thanks.
Thank you. And finally, we have Fuzzy.
Fawaz Abu Shark, 4 Harrison Road. I remember back end of November, beginning of December, there was a time to reappoint a chair for one of the city departments. And that chair happened at that time that they messed up a lot of ordinances and nobody would understand how did they come up with that. And one of the councilors asked to question that chair in his committee or in the meeting, and the people who are asking for transparency now blocked that. They blocked asking the chair, then they reappointed that chair. And I was in the meetings of that chair, and that chair made a lot of mistakes. And if you don't remember what it is, I'll remind you all later. So this is it for vetting and transparency. The other example I'm gonna bring, we have a big issue in our housing authority that we are not following any transparency, any ad hocs or anything. We're actually trying to remove the conflict of interest to put the mayor as the head of that. Why aren't we ad hoc in that? Why aren't we looking for transparency? Why is it and you know something, I agree with all of them. I need transparency. I need the best person for the job. It has to go everywhere, not pick and choose when we bring those issues. We're trying basically to support a witch hunt. We're trying to take power away from the council, and it's sad it's being done by councilors. We voted for you, and this was part of your job. Why are you passing the buck? Keep it within the council, keep it transparent, keep application for whoever who wanna see it, but it's your job. Please do your job. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes public testimony. Hearings, none. Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to take out of the order page 17.
Councilor Dominguez moves to page 17, unfinished business.
Should the following order laid on the table at the last council meeting now be taken from the table?
Councilor Dominguez, do you want to present on this?
I just quickly think we need to face this issue and try to come with some solution as soon as we can. I think it's a matter that we need to pay close attention.
Thank you. Okay, so typically, Madam City Clerk, I'm checking in Cushing, so taking it off the table, it does require a roll call vote. So then, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Can we speak on it?
So this, nope, it's not debatable.
We can speak, we can't debate tabling it. Can we speak about untabling?
So, no, to take from the table, a speaker may not be interrupted, requires a second, not debatable, majority vote required.
So second.
Okay, so it was seconded, it's not debatable. And so then, once we take the roll call, then we can go on from there. So, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
No.
Councilor Fury?
No.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Peterson?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
No.
Councilor Turiel?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes. Thank you. In the matter of taking from the table an order relative to forming an ad hoc committee for the replacement of the city clerk, we have 9 members voting, 2 absent, 6 in the affirmative, 3 in the negative. The matter carries. Now, for the order, I believe you then read the order?
No, we can't.
Correct?
We have an order that an ad hoc committee be formed for the purpose of reviewing applications and to interview candidates for the replacement of the city clerk due to the vacancy in accordance with Chapter 2, Section 2-68 of the City of Salem ordinances.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Because somebody has to, I'll move for adoption.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. I kind of wanted to kick this off. I think it's important to us to, as we move forward, make a couple of things clear. Ultimately, the role as defined in the city charter, the role of selecting the city clerk is exclusively the province of the city council. That's, the requirements after all the discussions, after all the reviews are done, after everything else is discussed, the important thing is, do 6 city councilors or more support the election if the next person to be city clerk? As it said in the charter, it's simply defined. This is a unique position in that it's not a mayoral appointment that has to be confirmed by the council. It's not a volunteer board position that has to be confirmed by the council and appointed by the mayor or whatever other authority might be. And it's not a directly hired position. It's something that, again, it's the only thing that's not an elected by the voters position as defined in our city charter. So it's an important responsibility for the city council to try and make sure that we do this right. And it's something also that we don't do very often. The last time this happened, as we all talked about several weeks ago, was when our current city clerk took over the position 14 years ago. And the only reason the position became available was because of the passing of the previous city clerk. This doesn't happen often. So, we have, what we don't have in this body is a really well-defined process for us to follow. We have the flexibility to do this any way whatsoever that we want. And that's really important to know. But it's also important that it's 2018, and whatever the result of this is, it's important for this body to take it seriously and to look at potential candidates as modern times also dictates, and also there's things that I think that we need to do. We need to have an updated job description, and I think the current city clerk with the council president and the HR department did a fabulous job of taking the job description and updating it, because we didn't have one before. We now have one, and I think it's something that we in the council do have to look at, and we have to set the roadmap to how future city councils are going to handle this if it ever happens, if and when it happens in the future. Because based on history, it's really unlikely that any of us, except maybe Councilor Fury, will be there in the, we'll be there 10, 15, 20 years from now. He'll be there forever. The rest of us are going to be smart and get out at some point. So, we do need to tighten this up and come up with a better way. We have a fabulous candidate already identified to us who's currently serving as the assistant city clerk, and she's terrific. There are other people out there that we do need, that I'm sure are going to be interested in the role, that we do need to give a serious look to instead of just simply handing it off. But I think we can do our homework right, look at this position, update the way we do things somewhat, and still be within our rights to give this job to the person that we deem most worthy. So I'm fully in favor of this order. I look forward to this process going forward. I hope this order will pass, and like I said, I move for adoption.
Thank you. Councilor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to ask for an amendment, please. And it bodes to what a lot of people said in the public hearing process. That an the wording would be after the word committee. That an ad hoc committee of city councilors be formed for the purpose of reviewing, etc. And then that this ought to be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs to form that committee. It could be 11 councilors, could be 9, 7, whatever the committee decides. And with that amendment, I believe we'd have the most public process possible. Every one of our meetings is advertised. Sunshine ordinance, we have to follow the open meeting law. Regular appointments on the executive side don't follow that process when they're going through the hiring process. We'd be following that process, going through the whole hiring process, would be public meetings. When department heads are appointed or hired, when board members are appointed, we get it here, and we very seldom question any of those appointments, but we're not part of the process whatsoever as far as the hiring and the appointment goes and the interviewing, and neither is the public. If we're going to have an open process, let's have an open process. Honest, open, transparent. We're right here in this meeting, at a public meeting, an ad hoc committee of city councilors elected by people make the one appointment that the legislative side is allowed to make, as Councilor Turiel alluded to. And as far as believing in democracy, I'm withdrawing a motion I have later on after some consultation with Councilor Milo, who I was helping to bring that motion in for. But contrary to some opinions, I'm very fond of democracy. And the main thing for doing this and doing it the way I would like to do with that motion is the most important part of our democracy is separation of powers. The executive side should not be interviewing, should not be hiring, should not be doing the one appointment that the legislative side is allowed to do. One appointment. Okay? It should not be done by anything but the legislative body. So with that, I ask for a pass of my amendment, please.
I second the friendly motion.
Councilor Fury seconds. Councilor Turiel.
Thank you, Madam President. I would, for the most part, agree with what the at-large councilor proposes. I have one caveat I would like to add to that, which is I think the ad hoc committee should be formed of city councilors, but I do believe as well that we do need some expertise to help guide us along the way. So what I would ask is that we have the city solicitor or or the assistant city solicitor and the HR director work with that ad hoc committee to make sure that we have everything done right. Make sure that we have, if we choose to define a process, that we're doing it in a way that's compatible with our ordinances. Make sure that any job description that we update is correct and done the right way. So I think we should add those two people to the ad hoc committee, basically for technical reasons, just to make sure that we do this absolutely right. But I completely agree with the suggestion that we put this committee together and that we specify it be of counselors, but I do think that I would ask that we also add those two people in particular to it, the director of HR and the city solicitor.
So is that an amendment on the
I'm
amendment?
not sure on the mechanism here because we're still working the amendment. I guess
Okay.
if the at-large counselor would accept that as a friendly amendment to his friendly amendment, then we're good. Otherwise, we have to do so. But
If I could.
Councillor Sargent.
I would respectfully ask for my amendment to be voted upon as is. That could be a second amendment. But my point being, when we're having this meeting, we can ask anybody in the world for advice. We can ask, and it's a public meeting. We can invite any department head, HR, and as we have with this thing, which I don't agree with the ordinance having to follow it, but if the city solicitor has been asked for an opinion and made an opinion, we didn't have to make her a member of the city council to do that, right? So we can ask the city solicitor for advice any time of the day or night. You can email her at 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to. She's there. She won't answer you until 8 o'clock the next morning. We can ask anybody for advice. They're all employees of the city. People aren't employees of the city. You could ask a city clerk from whatever town you grew up in, if you didn't grow up in Salem, to come and make comments at the meeting. But the voting committee should be consistent of a legislative body, elected city councilors. So, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Fury.
I have great respect for Councillor Sargent. He has a great deal of experience he brings to the table on zoning. He brings it with authority and commitment and professionalism on zoning. And this issue on having the city council live up to its responsibility. This is an abdication, if we go outside, of our responsibility and authority to elect a city clerk. Social media is very nice. Facebook and Twitter is very nice, and email. But we should not bow down to the altar of Facebook or Twitter or email. Facebook is not on the ballot. We are. It's our responsibility. We know the insights, the institution, the seamless transition that can take place when it comes for our city clerk. This is the Easter season. We all know the story of Pontius Pilate looking at the crowds and saying, should we crucify Jesus? Save it. Crowd, reaction, crowd. This is our elected body. This is our responsibility, not the crowd. It's nice to listen to public speaking going on now, phone calls and so on, and Twitter and email, but the buck stops with us. You elected us. This is on the ordinance. We've only chosen, in my lifetime, I've chosen, we've been in the process dating back when, I remember Mayor Driscoll sitting right in that seat where Councilor Medora is. She would vote for the election time and time again, every 3-year terms. We get elected 2-year terms. It's not a lifetime term, neither is the city clerk life term situation. We do it every 3 years. The mayor did it. So I think in a way, sincerely, this is an abdication of our authority. This is an encroachment on the executive board, the executive, the mayor. She wants a piece of the action. It's not in her territory. So I sincerely disagree with some of the speakers tonight and the last meeting. This should not be an Easter of Pontius Pilate putting his fingers up and down. It should be clearly our authority. We know the ins and outs. Many of the people that I've received phone calls from, and one list of people that, 25 people on that list saying for an ad hoc committee, very similar to the people that signed up for the sanctuary city. This is a well-orchestrated attempt by the mayor, a blatant, bold attempt to get involved in the election of the city clerk. The history of the city clerk has been very professional, positive, but I think there's been some discord and dissent with this administration, and they want more of the action. Sorry, the buck stops with us. And I agree with Councilor Sargent. We can ask for the input of the H&R director who's here today, the city solicitor who's here today. We can ask. That's our authority. But the buck stops with us. And I think we'd be abdicating our authority. I don't think there's any secret. This is a discord between the mayor and the city clerk's office. But that's good. That's healthy. I wouldn't want a robot in this situation. We want an independent city clerk. Guess what? Who started the meeting off? Who got the meeting off functioning tonight when the microphone wasn't working? The city clerk. Who puts this all together? All this work? It's like Keith Lockhart to all of us. The city clerk is our Keith Lockhart. Everything's done well, professional, above board. This committee, ad hoc committee, should only be us. We're the authority by ordinance. We can advertise, we can look out if we want to advertise, but the buck stops with us. So I sincerely agree with Councilor Sargent. His institutional knowledge of zoning, his institutional knowledge of the city council, 18 years, 22 years. We've only had a number of city clerks to serve this. It's not a lifetime position. Harry Birkenshop passed away of cancer. Very fortunately, Cheryl stepped into the situation. So I sincerely believe that if we elect every 3 years the term of the city clerk, we're doing what we should do as the elected officials. If you want to not elect me, please do. You have the right and responsibility. The buck stops with us. I'm tired of the interference, the meddling, power play of this mayor on the city clerk situation. It is. It's power play. The buck stops with us, and she should know that. She sat there right in that seat, and she appointed year after year. She didn't ask for an ad hoc committee back then. Now that she's mayor, power corrupts, I believe. In this case, it does. And I think we need an independent city clerk appointed by this body. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll say I know well and am friends with many of the, in the real world outside of this chamber, many of the people who were up here speaking tonight. And even though I have disagreements with them on how the city council should be conducting itself in this matter, I still, I know that they're coming at their opinion on this with the best of intentions, and that they're, and that they're not being set to do this. They're, if they're discussing it amongst themselves, and they're not coordinating anything. I really don't believe that they are. But the other side that I was said, and I probably should have said this when I first made my proposal at the beginning, early on in this, is I would like to have the HR and legal as a part of this committee. I don't want them voting on the decision. I just want them to be officially members of this so that they can be looped in as a part of this discussion as it goes forward. So I want them to be, I guess, essentially non-voting members of it. And if we have to modify the order accordingly to do it that way, but I do think that the people who vote ultimately on this only should be councilors who take this committee and bring it forward and bring forward whatever proposals or whoever the preferred candidates or candidates should be. That is entirely the province of the city councilors that are going to be members of this committee should it come to pass. But I do think that you should be officially part of that, because it just helps us make sure that we have the right group together.
Thank you.
Madam
Councilor Sargent.
Thank you for indulgence, Madam President. I believe they should be officially invited. I don't believe they should be officially be members. We have department heads here all the time. Any committee meeting we have people that we officially invite, and the public can also speak. We're officially invited. If we're going to follow this motion and this ordinance, are we to follow part of it, some of it, or are we to follow all of it? Because if the committee to be formed by that ordinance says there's supposed to be a committee of people with knowledge of the particular profession, okay? So the only people that have the knowledge of the city clerk's office that we do are city councilors and city clerks. Cheryl can't be a member. Eileen can't be a member, although she'd make a great member. So that's left to us. Okay, we deal with the city clerk's office all the time, day in and day out. And no disrespect to the more junior councilors, but the people, it's the seat that we represent. This seat is more important than me, as all of our seats are. So these seats that we sit in have been dealing with the city clerk since the city was formed, since we had our government formed. So the people who sit in these seats are by city charter given to elect in a city a new city clerk. So those are the people that are on the committee, and those are the people who vote. So we can officially invite anybody we want to, and I respect those people greatly. But we can't make them official members, I don't believe. It's our legislative duties to do this, and we can't bring anybody else in on the duty part of it. Having opinions and knowledge and all that, of course, they're invited. But I think it's still our duty for 11 of us to do this and do it properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fury?
Thanks. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's really important to make clear that the mayor has had nothing to do with this. She, as you know, as president, we meet regularly. We have not discussed this at all. This has not even been on the table. So I want to be clear that the mayor has had nothing to do with this. But I think that what's important, as the good at-large council was bringing up, that per the ordinance, that we do have to have people that have specific subject matter expertise. And what's important to recognize is that, yes, well, I think, and absolutely, as we are following 2-68, that, or actually it's under the city charter, when we make the election of the city clerk, that it's, as we're looking at this job, as we're looking at who's interested in the position, as who would be qualified for the position, that it's not just about what happens in here. Every part of a person's life in Salem happens through the city clerk's office. When you're born, when you get a dog, when you start a job, when you register to vote, when you want to start a business, when you get married, when you die. This is every part of life that happens. And one of the things that struck me so much about the city clerk's letter of resignation, which I'm still not happy about, but one of the things that struck me is that she talked about how she's a student of history. I mean, to be a city clerk, you have to be a student of history because you're the official Salem historian. And so I think that it's really important that we hear from people that have experience, if it's in other cities perhaps, as an election official, as what's required for vital records, because it's not just what happens here. This is one part of their jobs. If you asked them, or if you sat in their offices and watched what they did every day, your head would spin, because it is so much more than just what goes on here. So I think that it is important that we do have other people from the community as recommended in section 2-68, and have potentially what I was hoping to have would be, as I said, perhaps someone who deals with elections, someone who deals with vital records. That could be from outside of the city, so they don't have a horse in the race. And so there isn't going to be any bias there, because I think that it's important that we make an informed decision. What's so important about this ad hoc committee is that we are making an informed decision, because, as you had pointed out, she is only the 6th city clerk that we have had since incorporating in 1836. So think about that. We have to make an informed decision, and I think that we need to have the right people at the table that can help us with that decision. Thank you. Thank you. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I was thinking about the words, and I have a suggestion as to how we could, how we could modify the at-large councilor's amendment, if he'd be willing, to make it something that would get his intent clearly established, but still give us some flexibility with who we can invite to participate in it. And I would say that we change it to that an ad hoc committee, comma, whose voting members shall be exclusively members of the Salem City Council. And I think that would effectively solve the worries about people outside the council having a direct say in the matter, but give us the flexibility to bring in expertise should we choose to do so.
Say it again.
An ad hoc committee, comma, whose voting members shall exclusively be members of the Salem City Council.
Got it.
And that way, all decisions that the committee might make would be only eligible to be voted on by, even if we bring in a election commissioner to sit on the committee, or whatever, the actual votes that we take would only be by members of that committee.
Thank you. Councillor Sargent?
Madam President, I think we're splitting hairs. If somebody's a member or they're not. Again, any one of those people that you want to make an honorary member can be invited to every meeting. It's a public meeting. This is what all the public comment was about, having an open, honest process. It's in the paper. It's advertised. It's, open meeting law. We're going around and around with this. And anybody, any one of us can invite anybody to that meeting. So if you want somebody here every meeting, let them know about every meeting. That's what I do when there's something before Planning Board, Board of Appeals, City Council. I let people know about it. So there's going to be a meeting of the City Council. Come on down and have your say. And we'll stay here till midnight. We've been here till 1 o'clock in the morning before. But we can't, as Councilor Fuhrer said, shirk our legislative duties. This committee should be of 11 city councilors. It could be 9, 7, 5, but I think it's better off just being 11 city councilors on the committee. We're doing the interview process. I feel like I've been interviewing Eileen for 14 years. It's been a pretty good interview process, but if somebody else wants to come and be interviewed for an hour, 2 hours a day, I've worked many a third shift, we'll stay third shift. But 11 city councilors should be on that. That's why, with all due respect, I can't accept a friendly amendment to what I believe is the right thing to do. I can make a separate amendment, but...
Okay, Councillor Madore.
Thank you, Madam President. As a point of clarification, maybe through you to the at-large councillor, we are proposing to create an ad hoc committee through the Subcommittee of Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs. Okay, because I'm a little lost as to what the motion is.
Councillor Sargent, do you want to respond, or should I?
All right, I'll read. Ordered that an ad hoc committee of city councilors be formed for the purpose of reviewing applications to interview candidates for the replacement of the city clerk due to the vacancy in accordance with Chapter 2, Section 2-68 of the City of Salem ordinances. And I'm asking, as with many things, that be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs to form a committee of city councilors. And I'm hoping they'll form a committee of 11 city councilors. They may decide to, if 2 councilors don't want to be on it, we'll have 9 city councilors. But so that's my amendment that I'm asking for.
So just that the city councilors. Okay. Councillor Fury? I need you to come.
Sure.
Sorry.
I like being president.
Well, my notebook is so organized.
I know that. I won't touch it.
Okay.
You have a meeting, does everybody?
Councilor Giroux.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I guess my point of clarification then would be, because, it's really important that when we're doing hiring, that there is this great management adage that you hire slow and you fire fast. And so we want to make sure that we get everything right. So I guess my question is, when do we start this? When do we get through this? And when do we make a decision by? So I think that we need to set some parameters around what is the best thing, because then also keep in mind that once the current city clerk retires, they're short a body. So how are we going to manage that? And so that's, I guess I'm looking at the councilor at large
May I answer,
make a
please?
recommendation.
Councilor
Sargent, please.
That's why referring it to the Committee on Ordinance, License, and Legal Affairs is all-encompassing. That committee can, once it gets to committee, we can make it all 11 city councilors. We can decide all those things you just mentioned, because it's forming an ad hoc committee of city councilors. So you can decide timelines, parameters, who to invite, but it has to go to committee if you want to form all those things. I don't think we can do all that tonight. So we're forming the committee now. Everything that comes after that, we can kind of form up in the OLA committee. Because how else would we do it? We can't do it here tonight. We'd be here forever. We got a whole agenda. So you want to form an ad hoc committee. My amendment is that it be of city councilors. It goes to OLA, and then you get all the nuts and bolts together. If you please.
Councilor McCarthy, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. With everything that's been said, I think that the more proper way would be to refer the matter of an ad hoc committee to the Committee on License Orders and Legal Affairs. Because unfortunately, I agree with the ad hoc committee. I agree with that. But what happens is, this is a discussion I've had earlier, is without a process on how we're going to move forward, we're going to sit here all night and debate what the process is when we don't even have anything in front of us. So I don't, and I've been sitting back, I'm sorry, I agree with a lot of what's been said tonight, but the fact that the HR director or someone from the HR department isn't some de facto member of the committee, who is going to handle all the resumes that come in? Are they going to go to the council president and she's going to be care of someone's personal information? I don't think so. Is someone going to gather all those resumes and make sure that there's X amount of copies for us? I mean, unfortunately, with the makeup of the position, it's, with all due respect to the city clerk, we can't send those resumes to the city clerk's office because they're sending resumes to the position which they're applying for. That would be a conflict. So to avoid the conflict, the resumes would have to be sent to a body within the city that could process them for the ad hoc committee. That would be the HR department, in my opinion. I'm only one of 11. I agree with I agree with the body determines it. But right now, I also agree with what Council Turiel said. We have two conflicting things going on right here. We have an ordinance and we have the charter. And the ruling that we got back from, that the city council president requested that the legal department look at, was that the two of them should work in concert. There should be an open process, but at the same time we have to follow the charter. And the charter clearly states that the election is by the city council. So you can debate whether or not the ad hoc committee should be made up of all city councils, or you should have de facto members that are members of the public, because when you read the ordinance, it says, it doesn't say will, it says shall. Shall consider to use members of the public. We could or could not decide to use members of the public, or if we could, what capacity they're going to be. And I threw this out last week when someone called me privately in discussions. I said, okay, we go through this process, form an ad hoc committee, you come down with how many candidates? And then the candidates then come in front of us, and then because it says we vote. It doesn't say you take the recommendation of the ad hoc committee, and it still comes back to this room where there's 11 votes. It still comes back, whatever the decision is hopefully it's an open and transparent process, and the recommendation, boom, but there's nothing. That's just what it is. It's a recommendation, and it still comes back to the 11. So I'm not sure where we're going with this tonight, but we're just going to keep debating language about something that's very important, about forming some sort of committee that's going to look at this. But we need to make a motion that's going to make sense and get this thing moving forward. Because right now, we just keep going back and forth. And it's not productive, in my opinion. But I will say my one recommendation would be that somewhere in this, I see the HR director sitting over there, someone from either the HR director or someone has got to be responsible for the proper care of those resumes, because that's people's personal information. I realize they're applying for a public job and everything on this becomes part of the record, but at the same time I don't want to be the one responsible personally for X amount of resumes that come into, and someone's got to be a clearinghouse situation for those resumes. And I think it properly belongs in the HR department. That's my opinion.
Madam President, if I could please,
Councilor Sargent,
I
please.
agree 100%. I don't know of any job that's ever come through that hasn't, that the application hasn't gone through HR. That's what's done. I mean, it's a given. We have an advertisement out now. Can anybody tell me what the advertisement says where you apply to?
Goes to the HR department.
HR. So I don't want anybody's resume. I don't want anybody's personal information. That's a given. This is to go to OLA, and like I say, the ordinance says if you form a committee, it's of knowledgeable people in that field. And let's remember that ordinance is supposed to be for all jobs that we appoint. And this is the first time since I've been a city councilor that we're using this ordinance. We've appointed a lot of people, and I don't know of any committee like this that's been formed of knowledgeable people. If you read that literally, if I'm going to hire a city engineer, I'm going to form a committee of engineers to work on that. If I'm going to hire somebody from the planning department, we would have a committee of planners, usually probably retired planners that have knowledge in the field. I've never seen that done. Never in my 18 years on the city council have I seen it done. We've had, with all due respect to some people, we've had people that are on the planning board that don't have any planning background. Great people and done a good job. But we haven't had any committee do that. Now we're being asked to follow the ordinance. Well, let's follow it. It's supposed to be a committee of knowledgeable people in that field. The only people I see knowledgeable in that field really is city clerks and city councilors. It's a legislative position. We deal with those things all the time. That's what our phone calls are always about, helping people get all those forms, get things done, and work their way through that process. So we've been doing that also. So we can pass this and put it in committee, and all I'm asking for is 3 words. An ad hoc committee of city councilors be formed. So anybody can come to the meeting. It's a public process that people have asked for. So.
Councilor Girard?
Thank you, Mr. President. To be clear, I'm not comfortable with it just going to OLA. Even if it went OLA and co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, that still means that 5 people have a vote and 5 other members or 6 other members do not even have a vote. And I'm not comfortable with that because based on what the ultimate decision is going to be the election by 11 people. So this has to go to a special ad hoc committee. And as part of 2-68, that specifically says that it has to be people, other people who have expertise in the field. And I'm sure that if we ask the HR director about any other department head that she has been part of the hiring for, that there have been other people that have worked in the field that help with the process, other people who have experience within the city that have helped with the process of doing the hiring. And I think, and we need to be clear here that what we're talking about is hiring salaried individuals here. We're not talking about volunteers who are serving on the planning board or serving on any of our other 30 boards, which we appreciate very much. But we're talking about hiring for someone in a directorial level position, and typically the way that you hire is you have a hiring committee that is comprised of some of the people who are going to be working closely with the person. You have people who are subject matter experts that understand different aspects of the job. So when I was part of hiring for one of my bosses, that my director sent us the resumes, and she sent my coworker and I the resumes, and then we rated them, and then she asked us specific questions about how we would rate them on her different scale that she put together, and then she chose who to bring in for interviews, and then we all sat down and we interviewed the person. This is what happens in business every day. This is business every day. Every day the city clerk's office is utilized. So that's why I think that we need to have this ad hoc committee. We need to have people from the city that can participate in this, and we need to have other subject matter experts, because as I said, and I will say till I'm blue in the face, that there are so many other issues that people come to the city clerk's office for, that it's not just about what happens here. Okay. Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Madam President. I agree with all that, to simplify. But in the interest of moving this forward, I do not want the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs to handle this entire process. But what we have here is we have a... You're welcome, Councilor. What we have here is in order to create an ad hoc committee, which I fully support doing so. What we don't have is a definition of what that ad hoc committee is, who will be on it, how it will do its business, what its scope is going to be, and all the details of it. And and this is the part where, this is where I depart, we do need to establish those things before the ad hoc committee can be formed, and we decide how many councilors on. Is it the whole body? Is it 5 of us? Is it 7 of us? So, and whatever that tweet was, wonderful. What I would do, just to kind of preempt this and hopefully just deal with the issue for the moment and give it a chance to work this out and move the ball forward here, because we do need to do that. I will, for the moment, I will withdraw my motion for approval, because that takes all this amendments and everything else off the table for the moment. I will withdraw that, and I'm going to move that we refer the creation of this ad hoc committee to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs co-posted, with the idea that in that committee with the input of everybody, we can establish what that committee, who is going to be on the ad hoc committee, what the scope of the ad hoc committee will be, all these details of it, and then get it back to us to vote to create said ad hoc committee. Because I would like to do this right, but rather than splitting hairs on the council floor for the rest of the night, I agree. We do need to deal with this, and I would, like to basically move it in, have a meeting to figure it out, and move it out, and hopefully at our next March meeting, hopefully we can, have a vote on the floor of a defined ad hoc committee. So like I said, I withdraw my motion for adoption and instead move that it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. I believe the OLA chairman would like to say something to it. So,
Councilor McCarthy.
My motion still stands.
Thank you, Madam President. If that's the will, that's the will. A few years ago, before someone challenged the rule, we used to refer stuff like this to the Committee of the Whole. That way every 11 got a vote.
Right.
So if there's no reason why I can't get referred to the Committee of the Whole, I have no problem with that, because that just means all 11 everyone is able to participate, everyone's a part of the final vote. It's splitting hairs because, to be honest with you, it's going to come out of committee, and then the 11 of us are still going to vote on what the recommendation is anyway, and then we're going to try to tweak it on the floor, so maybe it just gets everything settled in committee. So I would move to, if no one has an objection, because up until, for the first 8 or 9 years or 10 years of my existence on the city council, when we had issues of this that we wanted to deal with, and because of the whole thing, we referred to the Committee of the Whole. That way, every 11 can participate, every 11 get a vote, and then it moves to the council, and that way all the work is done in committee, and everyone gets a vote. So if no one has an objection to that, I would move to just move the whole matter to the Committee of the Whole, have a meeting. As you know, the council president chairs the Committee of the Whole. That way, you schedule a meeting, we have another discussion, because everyone's got an opinion. I agree with a lot of everything that's been said tonight. I don't disagree with it, but unfortunately, we're going to sit here all night trying to come up with a way to start a process. We haven't even started yet. So we need a process, and so the whole group of us needs to, outside of the regular council business, which is supposed to be conducted tonight, needs to sit back together in this room and have a discussion about how we're going to take this thing forward. That's just my opinion. I yield the floor.
Councilor Sargent.
It's simply, there has to be an objection. There's no other way around it. I mean, this ordinance, like tonight, we're being asked to follow city ordinance. A couple of years ago, a committee was formed to review the city charter. And the city charter, it says that any issue has to be referred to one of the 5 standing committees of the city council. And all 5 of those committees have 5 people on them. There is no Committee of the Whole. It doesn't exist. The Committee of the Whole is only for, actually right now, we should be in Committee of the Whole. What we're doing right now is what the rule for Committee of the Whole is for. Excuse me. At any point in a city council meeting, when we get into a discussion like this, the council president has the right to break into Committee of the Whole. So instead of doing what we're supposed to be doing our council meeting, we're doing a committee meeting. So at any point in a city council meeting, the president can break into Committee of the Whole for a time certain, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then break back into a matter like this and then vote on it. So in a way, we're not following. Right now, we should be in Committee of the Whole. But there's no standing committee of Committee of the Whole. And the council president can appoint somebody to be the chairman of that Committee of the Whole. So, like I say, if you don't know a rule and you're ignorant of it and you don't follow it, is one thing. But seeing tonight, the main gist of the beginning of the meeting was to follow city ordinances. So, again, do we follow some of our city charter, some of our city ordinance, some of our zoning ordinance, or do we try to at least follow the ones that we know? So that's why we can't refer this to Committee of the Whole. There should be nothing in the Committee of the Whole. It's just something we break into. So again, the motion is to refer this to Ordinance License Legal Affairs Committee, and I make my friendly amendment that in order, after the word committee, we put of city councilors. I'll even add of 11 city councilors, so there's no doubt that the committee will have all 11 city councilors should they choose to. Any city councilor can decide not to be part of a committee like that. So after committee, my friendly amendment is that of all 11 city councilors, and then move on with the rest of it.
Councilor Terrio.
I'll just, since I had withdrawn my initial motion for adoption and moved to refer it, so that would require, I don't want to accept that as a friendly amendment at this time. I would, if the at-large councilor wishes for us to vote on that amendment, that's fine, but because this, I would like to resolve, and if the will is not there to reuse the committee of the whole tool that served us so well for roughly 5 years of my time on the council. I understand that it's not established by the rule, and for some reason that didn't stop us for a long time, but for about 15 years before I joined the city council. But that said, that's fine. If we could have to refer it to the standing committee, so be it. But I don't think if we're going to refer to committee, I would not accept any changes to this initial order at this point. If the will of the committee and or the whole body is to define it as such at that point, then that's fine, and that's the will of the committee. The at-large councilor is a member of that committee, and if the votes are there to change it and send it through accordingly, then that's fine. But I just simply am moving that we send it to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs co-posted, and I would like to move the question.
I make my motion and ask that it be voted on, please.
I'm sorry?
I ask for a vote on my motion.
Vote on the amendment?
Yes, my motion is now an unfriendly motion. My amendment is now unfriendly. No disrespect. It's not a friendly amendment. So I ask for a vote on the motion, please.
So a vote on the motion to send this to amend this, to amend the order that an ad hoc committee of all 11 city councilors be formed for the purpose of reviewing applications and to interview candidates for the replacement of the city clerk due to the vacancy in accordance with Chapter 2, Section 2-68 of the City of Salem ordinances. So I just want to, I'm looking at Beth, that I'm just wondering, is that allowable per 268?
Is it allowable
That the ad hoc committee just be comprised, that the search committee just be comprised of city councilors?
Well, the way it's written, it says, it is hereby encouraged but not required that a committee consisting of municipal personnel and Salem residents. So it is hereby encouraged but not required.
Okay, and so because it would be over a quorum, they would have to be regularly scheduled public meetings?
Correct.
Okay, I just want that to be clear. Are we clear? Okay. Councilor Fury.
My 12 years in the school committee, 12 years in the school committee. What's going on tonight? The school committee. Why isn't any school committee member here?
They have a meeting.
Half of our, yes, I wonder why. Half the budget of our budget goes to schools. How many, name a number of superintendents that had ad hoc transparent committees made up of parents and students and administrators? How many of us can name the superintendents in the last 12 years in an open process? How many can name the principals of the Salem Star School or the Bowditch School? I can't even name the 11 principals of the Bowditch School. All open, transparent, clean processes inviting parents, students in. How many of us? I can't, I'm myself, 12 years in the school committee. Yet through all this, 22 years ago, the school committee appointed a man, integrity, honesty, he's still there today. He's the director of buildings and grounds, Paul Laveau. Institutional knowledge, dedication, love, former Vietnam veteran. He's there. Professional, seamless transition, knows the building's ins and outs. If we ever have to appoint anybody else along the way, take 3 or 4 people to appoint Paul Laveau. Open, transparent processes, ad hoc committees sound good on paper. Democracy is a very weak form of government, and ad hoc committees can show that. 11 principals in 11 years. Some of you spoke up at school committee meetings. I did, to speak up at the last couple of school committee meetings there. The meeting tonight, open process, 11 principals, how many superintendents, how many assistant superintendents, how many principals? The buck stops with us, the city council. Thank you.
Okay, So, the motion on the floor is to order that an ad hoc committee of all 11 city councilors be formed for the purpose of reviewing applications and to interview candidates for the replacement of the city clerk due to the vacancy in accordance with Chapter 2, Section 2-68 of the City of Salem ordinances. Correct? That's what we're voting on.
Refer to committee.
I'm sorry?
And refer to all.
And refer to,
We have to vote on the proposed amendment first.
of adding the city councilors.
Yes.
Okay, so first we're going to vote on requiring that the ad hoc committee have all 11 city councilors on it. Okay.
And refer.
And refer to all.
And, okay, so there's two parts to the amendment? Okay. And refer. So, okay, so, and,
Point of clarification, Madam
Sure.
President. So the proposed amendment is, the motion is all ready to refer it to committee. Should the amendment fail, then the vote would just be to move it to committee as is clean. Should the amendment pass, then it would be moved to committee with the language specifying that the 11 city councilors are the ad hoc committee members. It would be moved to committee for the rest of the determination, but with that one already done. So if we vote yes on the amendment, we're voting to, if we vote yes on the amendment, we're voting to refer it to committee and also at the same time specify that all the members of the committee are the 11 city councilors. If we vote no on the amendment, we are still voting to refer it to committee. However, we're voting to refer it to the committee with the ability for the committee to determine what that makeup shall be.
okay. Okay. Councilor Dominguez. And then Councilor McCarthy.
I just wanted to express myself on the issue. I think this is a very important issue for our city and for our democracy, as we hear some people saying. And I think that in the past, the practice of the former or past city council is to bring everything to committee. And I think there's some people are fair on getting back to the committee. I think that we need to make sure that we was elected to work the issue in front of us and do it right at the right moment. If we decided to be voted to be in all or any other committee, I think that we guarantee the voters that we will work on. My position on this issue is to be an open, an open person. So we really project exactly who we are as a city body. I mean, we are not just taking one side and another. We need to be able to deal with the issue with both sides. And I think this is a very important. I think I heard some comments on pro and against. And I think that what makes any democracy fair is the transparency, but also the independence. To me, independence is the key issue right here. And I think that for some reason, I feel that that's not really very, very well addressed by any size. Feel if we bring it right here, it's going to be deal with some type of favoritism. If we bring it right over there, it's going to be bringing for some other party. So I think that we need to assure the voters, the people of Salem, is that we're going to do a job that we was hiring for. We was elected, and I agree with many of the comments on the decision need to be made by the city council. But at the same token, we need to project that we're going to do the right thing. We're very, very, very fair, very independent, and very transparent. So I think that's basically what we need to project. Thank you. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy, did you have your hand raised?
No, thank you.
No.
It's a call to question.
Okay, so, okay. So all on the matter,
Of the amendment.
I'm sorry, of the amendments of including all 11 city councilors and referring this to ordinances, licenses, and legal affairs co-posted with the committee of the whole. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed? Opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Matter does not carry.
On the referral committee.
On Councilor Terrell, referral to committee.
Co-posted.
Co-post, which committee? To the ad hoc?
No,
Oh, to,
ad hoc committee's formation to the OLA committee.
okay, to OLA.
Co-posted.
Co-posted. Just OLA. No, okay. Then, so just referring the formation of the ad hoc committee to Ola, co-posted with the committee of the whole. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All those opposed? Opposed, matter carries. Okay. Councilor Terrell?
Move we return to the regular meeting?
Councilor Terrell moves that we return to the regular meeting. On page 4, appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of the following to serve as members of the Salem Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees with their terms to expire. Rebecca Curran, January 25th, 2020, and Mickey Northcutt, January 25th, 2020.
Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm just looking, I'm trying to see if Corinne's here, because I don't see her. I will move, she here? No. So, I will move to divide the question, if possible.
Councilor Terrell moves to divide the question. So which one do you want to take up first?
Well, we'll take up Mr. Northcutt first, if that's okay.
Okay. So, under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. In the case of Mr. Northcutt, he is currently, and I'm fine with both of these, frankly, but in the case of both of these, they are being appointed to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund because they are already holding roles with the city as volunteers with our committees. So I am comfortable with waiving Rule 29A in both of these cases because they are well known to us. We have discussed matters with them many a time, and they're being appointed to this committee because of their specific expertise and how they already serve. As Ms. Curran is the chair of the ZBA, for instance. And so in this case, we have a letter from the mayor on Mr. Northcutt's appointment. Just for the benefit of everybody in the room over here, he is, until the month of May, teaching a class in Boston that requires him to be in Boston every Thursday night, which is why he has not been able to be here for the last couple of meetings since this first came forward. So we've held it previously because I wanted to see an official communication just to make sure that we all knew that. And so given that we have such a communication now, I am comfortable in this case, and knowing Mr. Northcutt as well, I am comfortable with asking for a waiver of Rule 29A to allow this to come before us without him being here, as again, he is well known to us, and we do occasionally grant this to appearances. We've done this for, just to name a recent example, we did this for former Councilor Legault when he was appointed to the Massport Advisory Board. We've done it a few other times that I just can't remember right off the top of my head, but you know, we do it a couple of times a year, and I would support that going forward. So I move for a waiver of Rule 29A. Unless there's an objection.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McCarthy.
And seeing no objection to that, I would move for his confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrell moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Anything else you want to say about Mr. Northcutt?
No, we all know.
Okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Peterson?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Turiel?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes. Thank you. In the matter of the appointment of Mickey Northcutt to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees and suspending Rule 29A, we have 9 members voting, 2 that are absent, 9 members voting, 2 absent, all in the affirmative. The matter carries.
Madam President, may I have a point of personal privilege?
Is this in relation to Mr. Northcutt?
Oh, no, just to the appointments, and, we only did one, we'll do the other one first.
I have to do the other one.
For us, I'm sorry.
Councilor Terrell has to do the other one, and the last time that I gave you a point of personal privilege, you kind of went off on something else, so I'd kind of like to just move along.
Good teacher.
Councilor Terrell.
No, I'm good. After this appointment, I would like a piece of point of personal privilege.
Thank you, Madam President. In the case of Ms. Curran, I would also I would also ask for a suspension of Rule 29A in this particular case. Again, Ms. Curran is the current chair of the ZBA. She is well known to the council. Her work here, for the city, the fact that she's also does the same job as the planner for Marblehead, at the same time as she serves as our giving back as our ZBA chief, and she's willing to take on this additional commitment. I see no particular reason why we should, hold her back from doing that if she's willing to do it. Again,
Second.
She's well known to all the council, and if any of us need to talk to her about this role as we go forward, then we can always do so. I'm comfortable with it.
Thank you. Okay, so Councilor Terrell moves that suspend Rule 29A, seconded by Councilor McCarthy, and he moves for confirmation by roll call vote. No further discussion, I see. So, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Peterson?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes. In the matter of the appointment of Rebecca Curran to the Salem Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees and suspending Rule 29A, we have 9 members voting, 2 absent, none in the negative, 9 in the affirmative. The matter carries.
Now, can I have that quick, just, please? It's about appointments. I won't ask for every appointment, but it's about appointments.
Councilor Sargent, last time that last time that you did this, you used it to argue for the city clerk, which was really inappropriate.
Which I'm not doing.
So this is why I'm questioning and I'm hesitating even allowing you. Because it's not appropriate what you did last time, and I'm not going to allow you to do it again. Does this have something to do with these appointments?
With appointments and rules for appointments.
We're
dealing with appointments. I would just want to mention the rules and how we make appointments. Now, so it's not to do with the city clerk, which I think what I spoke about last time was very appropriate. We've had a lot of people talking about the rules, and these are good appointments. I 100% agree with them. Good people that do a good job. But we had all this talk about ordinances, and that rule, Section 2-68 says that a job is supposed to be advertised that we appoint for 21 days, and then we can possibly make a committee like we're making for I can't say the word, make a committee. And there's many, many appointments going on tonight in every meeting, and I'm not going to speak on them all. But I don't believe that process has been followed. And I still think these are good appointments. But like I say, we don't always follow all the rules all the time. And it was alluded to sometimes at the beginning that we don't like to follow the rules. There are rules that aren't followed, and I would like to see them all advertised 21 days and get people, all kinds of resumes. But it doesn't always happen that way, and I won't speak on that again. Thank you.
Just for clarification, Section 2-68 is related to hiring people, not people volunteering on boards. Councilor McCarthy?
It relates to everybody that the city council appoints. It's just written out, anybody that we appoint.
No, it doesn't. Councilor McCarthy?
I'll read it if you want me to.
No.
Thank you, Madam President. With all due respect to the at-large councilor, the way appointments come into boards, they come in, they're held under the rules. That way, if any member, that way it's known to us, a meeting in advance, 2 weeks in advance, that if any questions are to arise, if someone has a question and wants to talk to that individual whose name has been considered for a board, because I can distinctly remember when I was on the council early on, these appointments would come in and we'd take them up at that meeting. Then then that rule was found, and that they are held under the rules, and they're supposed to make themselves available. So that person usually is sitting in the room, and then someone will introduce them, talk about them, and then they usually come up to the podium. What Councilor Turiel asked for is the fact that these 2 people, one has a direct conflict, specifically on Thursdays, and the other person, we've invited to this chamber like 4 different times. And I'm sure she might have shown up at one meeting and there was like 300 people in here, and then she decided, you know what, I'm going home tonight because this is going to take forever and they're never going to get to my appointment, so I can't speak. But we're all very well aware of them. But specifically with appointments to boards, it's the appointment's name comes in front of us and what board they're coming to. It's held under the rules for 2 weeks till the next meeting, and then we take it up at that meeting. So therefore, if any member of the city council has a question for that person who they want to the appointment, pick up the phone, call that person, and say, hey, especially if it happens to be, if the person lives in your ward and as a ward council, it's your responsibility to stand up here and introduce that person. It gives you that 2 weeks time to introduce yourself, because sometimes you may not know that person. So specifically let's not convolute the issues here. Specifically with appointments to boards. The appointment comes in front of us, held under the rules, and then the next meeting we take the appointment up. And specifically, they're supposed to make themselves available to be here when we appoint them. But in this case, we waive that rule just for that issue alone.
Thank you.
Clear.
Thank you.
Explain, please, Michael, because...
No, Counselor, we're done. We're done. We're done. I'm the president. I run the decorum of this meeting. I want you to sit down because I want to move on with this meeting.
To that rule. Just for clarification.
Enough.
Okay.
Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Annie Scott to the Salem Beautification Committee for a term to expire February 22nd, 2021.
Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Madore moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Yes, Madam President. I had the pleasure of speaking with Ms. Scott earlier today, and just by looking at her resume, she's very well qualified, and she also, on the side, does a lot of volunteer work within the field, and her specialty is an understanding of native species, so I think we could definitely leverage her knowledge in our beautification committee. And also would like to know that she's a new resident to Salem, and the fact that she would like to contribute her expertise to beautify our city. I think feel very fortunate to have her time. Is she even here tonight? Yes. So I just want to point out that we rely on volunteers like her to help out with a lot of the affairs of our city, physically and not physically. So I think we're very lucky to have her, and I highly recommend her confirmation.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Madore's motion, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Peterson?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Turiel?
Yes.
Councilor Giroux?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the appointment of Annie Scott to the Beautification Committee, we have 9 councilors voting, 2 are absent, 9 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Madam President. I move to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Scott to address the council if she so chooses.
Thank you. And Annie, if you'd like, you may come up to the podium.
I would just like to thank you for the appointment, and I look forward to working with the Beautification Committee.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Nick Angeramo to the Salem's Youth Commission for a term to expire May 12, 2019.
Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Madore moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. We all know Mr. Angeramo as the son of our high school principal, and so he has also served on the Youth Commission. Actually, he currently serves on the Youth Commission, I just learned, and he would like to continue that service. He talked to me about how he would like to continue to increase civic participation of our youth. So I'm very glad to hear that, because all children are our future. So I fully recommend his confirmation.
Thank you. Councilor Fury.
Madam President, Nick, thank you very much for your patience for bearing with us tonight. Democracy is not a clean thing. It's messy, and even on a local level, national level, it's messy. So thank you for bearing with us there. Nick is very involved in his career at Salem High School. Which pitch performed at our inauguration? Here and at the PBD Essex Museum. He's captain of his golf team, very active in the band, very active in drama. And one of the most personal, satisfying moments that I had in all my career, Nick, was your father, principal of Salem High School, performing Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol at a Christmas concert. You in the band, your mom and sister in the audience, and your family in the audience, and your father reciting Charles Dickens. So we're getting a high caliber young man on this youth commission. Thanks, Nick. Keep up good work.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councillor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. I've known Nick since he was born. I've known his family. I went to school with his Uncle Chuck, and I can tell you there's no finer family in the city of Salem. He's a great young man. We're very lucky to have him, and it's an honor that he's from Ward 4. And I can't say enough good things about him. I'd like to have him as my own son. He's really a good guy. He's the best.
TJ would have some competition, I guess.
Congratulations.
Councillor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. I have to add that Nick going to school to Salem High with one of my daughter, my baby daughter, and I met him before. But comments that I wanted to bring here is that we're looking for at the next maybe mayor of Salem. He's actually very involved in politics. He beat my daughter, and she keep me posted on the race and the way he campaigning, and he did a pretty good job. So I think he's going to be very great on this youth commission. So that's what I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Mador's motion, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Peterson?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Turiel?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the appointment of Nick Andramo to the Salem Youth Commission, we have 9 councilors voting, 2 are absent, none in the negative, 9 in the affirmative. The matter carries. Councilor Madore.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules to allow Mr. Andramo to address the council if he so chooses.
Seeing no objection, come on up to the podium, Nick.
Hello, I'd like to thank you all. I'm very humbled by those words. I look forward to continuing to serve on the Salem Youth Commission and working with all of you. Thank you very much.
Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of the following to serve as members of the Salem Cable Television and Technology Commission with their terms expiring on March 8th, 2020. Kevin Walker, Linda Vaughn, Laura DeToma Swanson, Ollie Diverstein, William Simons.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Terrio moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Briefly, Madam President, I've been the city council member of this commission for the last 6 years because it's what I do for a living also. I work with Bill, who's our assistant city clerk's husband. He's been all these people have been terrific contributors. We worked as a group to get a much improved contract with Comcast that allows us to, that now allows us to move forward with the fiber optic proposal that's been before us and is hopefully going to be back to us shortly as the full contract that we were notified on. So, and has added a lot of capabilities for the city. So these guys have done a great job working on the commission, and I very enthusiastically support their reappointment.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Terriel's motion, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Peterson?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Turiel?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes. Thank you. On the reappointment of the following to the Salem Cable and Television Technology Commission, Kevin Walker, Linda Vaughn, Laura DeToma Swanson, Ollie Diverstein, and William Simons. We have 9 members voting, 2 absent, 9 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Terriel? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's a reappointment. Further appointments and reappointments.
The mayor's reappointment of the following to the Salem Design Review Board with the terms to expire February 22nd, 2021. Ernest DeMayo, David Jaquith, and Glenn Kennedy.
Councilor Fury.
Madam President, I move for confirmation by roll call vote, please.
Councilor Fury moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
I have the privilege and pleasure of serving on the SRA, and I go to many of the Salem Design Review Board. They're very top-notch professional people. They've been working on the project that we were talking about tonight, the Diamond Project, the District Court, and they were very involved in that. They're great people, and I'd like to see confirmation by roll call vote. We're very lucky to have them. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Fury's motion for confirmation by roll call vote, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dominguez?
Yes.
Counselor Flynn?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Medora?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Peterson?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes. Thank you. In the matter of the reappointment of the following to the Salem Design Review Board, Ernest DeMaio, David Jakewith, thank you, and Glenn Kennedy. We have 9 councilors voting, 2 absent, 9 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
The mayor's reappointment of the following department heads with their terms to expire. Teresa Gov. Arnold, 1/31/2020. Nina Bridgman, 1/31/2020. Lisa Camerata, 1/31/2020. Bonnie Selly, 1/31/2021. Thomas Daniel, 1/31/2020. John Giardi, 1/31/2020. David Knowlton, 1/31/2020. Thomas St. Pierre, 1/31/2020. Kathleen Wynn, 1/31/2020.
Councilor Sargent.
I move confirmation by roll call vote, please.
Councilor Sargent moves for, stand up.
I'm sorry.
Councilor Sargent moves for confirmation by roll call vote under discussion.
Worried about standing up. Very sorry. God love you, Madam President. I move confirmation by roll call vote, please.
Councilor Sargent moves for confirmation by roll call vote under discussion.
Being none.
Being none. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Dominguez?
Yes.
Counselor Flynn?
Yes.
Counselor Fury?
Yes.
Counselor Medora?
Yes.
Counselor McCarthy?
Yes.
Counselor Peterson?
Yes.
Counselor Sargent?
Yes.
Counselor Turiel?
Yes.
Counselor Gerard?
Yes. Thank you. On the matter of the reappointment of the following department heads, Teresa Gove Arnold, Nina Bridgman, Lisa Camerata, Bonnie Seeley, Thomas Daniels, John Giardi, David Knowlton, Thomas St. Pierre, and Kathleen Wynn. We have 9 councilors voting, 2 are absent, 9 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. Though not required by statute that they appear for their reconfirmation, there are certain department heads that are here that if they want to choose to address the city council, I think we should open it up to them because they waited all this time to make sure their names were read and that we voted that way. But it's not required that they show up for a reappointment, but since they did take the time to join us this evening, I think that I should make a motion to waive the rules if they would like to address the city council.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no objection, Lisa or John, do you want to?
Thank you. Thank you very much, councilors. It's a privilege to stand before you again for another year. I'm humbled by this. I've been here since 1980, part as a city council at large, so I served on the body. I'm going to just tell you a short story. When I was on the city council, I had 4 lawyers on the council with me, right?
Aye.
And I always had 5 different opinions, so I know what you're up against. I'm humbled to be here for another year, and I thank you for the privilege of being able to do the job of city electrician again. I thank the mayor for having confidence in me, and this body for having confidence in me. And I just want to report to you at this time that 753 customers without power at this present moment. Okay? So we're getting it. Probably another day, 48 hours at the most, we should have everybody restored. So with that, I'll leave you and good night. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would also like to thank you all. It's interesting. I started 11 years ago this week. I left a job that I had been at for over 22 years. I have never looked back. I'm very happy here. I think we have a really well-oiled machine here, and I'm really honored to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I too want to just thank you for your support. It's wonderful being part of the Salem team. Many of you know I worked here for 5 years before coming back, and I just love being part of the community and working with you. So thank you so much for your support.
Thank you. And if I can just take a moment, as John had mentioned about the 753 homes, that just want to remind everybody at home that if you have any neighbors that you know of in any of these 753 homes, please reach out to them. I know that it's a cold night, and so anything that we can do to help our fellow Salemites would be fantastic. So, moving on. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation for $265,000 from retained earnings water sewer account to DPS utility service repair and maintenance account.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Terrio moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a bigger amount of money than we usually deal with. But just to be very clear, and it's very well documented if you've read this in your packets, this is money from water and sewer earnings, so in the fund there, and it's being used to pay for the bills for all those water main breaks that we've already paid for. So we've already done the work to repair all these breaks that have been happening over the last few months. This is something that unfortunately with old infrastructure we have to deal with every year. We've already done the work, so now this is paying to do it. We're now getting towards the end of the season where water main breaks are frequent, and as will continue to happen, the engineering department will continue, and Public Works will continue to coordinate repairing and replacing as much of that infrastructure to modernize it as possible. Ultimately, we hope to see, these bills go down every year, but we've done a pretty good job of taking care of the problems and responding quickly to them, especially if you remember the one on Highland Avenue a few weeks ago. That's one of the big ones that's in here.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Terrio's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $48,000 from fund balance free cash account to DPS tree account to fund additional tree maintenance, removals, plantings citywide.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Terrio moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This is additional money that's being freed up to cover tree plantings above and beyond the 200 that we did late last year. So this, if I believe, if I recall here, is going to be approximately put plantings on about 88 new streets around the city. And they've coordinated their stuff with gas leak detection because that's been a major issue. For instance, there was a paving job and some tree replacements planned for Summit Avenue, and National Grid went in and verified, like, okay, we do have a lot of gas leaks here, and they're replacing all the mains all along that whole stretch before this work happens. So we found other streets that we can do work on above and beyond, and this is to support that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Terrio's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $18,000 to retirement stabilization fund vacation sick leave buyback account for negotiated sick leave buyback.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Terrio moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Just very briefly, this is, we have in our contractual agreements with our various unions, we have sick leave buyback provisions in there. This is to fund them accordingly, and we're not talking about a lot of them right now, but there are some buybacks that are planned, and that helps the city, that helps the city move forward, that helps us with our budgeting, and it's just a, instead of having people with lots and lots of time, we pay them a little bit to pull that off the table.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion on Councilor Terrio's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $2,500 from fund balance free cash account to planning contracted services account for the city's share of the North Shore Mobility Study.
Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Terrio moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. I also move for adoption.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. The documentation here, when they put forth the request to us back in January to fund the study, honestly, there was a goof, and it wasn't realized at the time that there was a second payment that we were going to have to make on it. This is to help fund the study that's being done right now, where we're working with some other cities as well to look at transit options between the between Salem and our nearby communities, and some options for helping relieve traffic, supplement what the T does, and all the like.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Terrell's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a resolution calling for early voting for all Massachusetts elections and the same-day registration.
Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Madam President. I know I got a lot of credit for this during the early portion of the public discussion, but I didn't write this. It was given to me to bring in. So just to make it clear, this came from the this did come from the mayor, and I'm glad that I was asked to bring this in because I think this is very worthy. So if people have not read it, it's not that long, so I'll happily read it unless you'd like to waive it. So it's I'll go through this very quickly.
We'll waive half it if it gets long.
Okay, perfect. So, City of Salem resolved a resolution calling for early voting for all Massachusetts elections and for same-day voter registration, and I'll read fast. Whereas early voting was allowed by the Massachusetts legislature for the 2016 general election and resulted in over 3,200 Salem voters casting their ballot earlier than Election Day, and whereas early voting makes voting easier and more accessible to voters who may not be able to go to a polling place on Election Day itself, and whereas the city clerk, staff, and election office volunteers ably conducted the early voting effort in 2016, and whereas same-day voter registration has been shown to increase civic engagement and voter participation by reducing barriers to voter registration in the 15 states and the District of Columbia where it is now in use, and whereas automatic voter registration can further increase voter participation in elections without imposing additional significant challenges to local and state elections offices, and whereas all residents benefit with voter participation, turnout is at its strongest. Now, therefore, let be it resolved that the City of Salem calls upon the Massachusetts legislature to extend early voting options for all local, state, and federal elections and to provide resources to cities and towns to implement the same, and that the City of Salem further calls upon the Massachusetts legislature act to institute same-day voter registration and automatic voter registration for our Commonwealth. And I move for adoption.
Councilor Terrell moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. That wasn't too bad. Basically, we had our first experience with early voting 2 years ago. It went very well. A lot of people took advantage of it. It reduced some of the crowds on Election Day. The city clerk's office did a wonderful job of coordinating this and getting this done. And we had early voting locations that were outside of City Hall. We had public locations for it. It went really well, and like was pointed out here, we did get 3,200 Salem voters out of our electorate came and took advantage of that. I think it's terrific. I also love the idea of same-day voter registration, and I like the idea of automatic voter registration. As soon you get your license, you're pre-registered to vote. There are a lot of states doing this. The one thing that we need to do with this, and it's calls in here, is that this does cost money for us to do and for us to manage. It takes more resources, and we do want to encourage this to happen, but at the same time, we would like to ask our legislature to make sure that they send the cities the money to be able to handle this. So this is not a law that we're passing on our own. This is just a resolution to ask our legislature to act on it. I know they have some bills in front of them right now that they're working on, and this is to express our support for it, and I fully support it.
Thank you. Councilor Sargent.
I know it's only a resolution, but could I ask that we split the question, the early voting in the same day, and may I speak on it, please?
You want to split which part of the question?
Split the two questions. I would like to be able to vote for early voting, but not be able to vote for same-day registration. So I'd like to split the resolution, and I'll explain.
Okay.
Early voting, I think, has worked out great. Automatic registration by your license. But coming in, I've heard many stories about things that go on in New Hampshire where they have same-day registration, and where you can go up to New Hampshire and, I believe, say I'm thinking of moving to New Hampshire and vote. And there were a lot of questions about some of the results last time, and not everybody, the tally wasn't quite correct by some articles I read, and I also think it's a lot of work for the city clerk's office to try and vet people out on the same day. And I may get there one of these days, but I mean, in this democratic process, I registered to vote when I was 17 in high school before we were even legal to vote, so you'd be ready. And if you really should be ready. You should know you want to vote before the day of the election. I mean, there's so much that goes on with elections. We all know when they are, so that's why for those reasons, I'm not quite there yet on same-day registration. Thank you.
Okay, so, Councilor Terrell, how do you want to?
Yeah, I
then?
don't know. I mean, this is specifically a single resolution, so it's not like it's a question here to split, I don't think. So, I don't see it. I may be wrong, and we can take a vote on it. I don't see the resolution as something we could split into two separate resolutions. But I'll also say that I know there were allegations of fraud in New Hampshire that were made generally by fairly far out media, but there wasn't any pattern, if anything, and there wasn't any series of incidents up there over the border. I know there was somebody alleging that busloads of people were coming in from Massachusetts to vote there, but that wasn't true. So same day, I do agree that same day needs some guards upon it if and when we do that. But again, I would love to see this passed, but I'd also love to see this passed I'd like the legislature to implement this, but I'd also like them to implement it with the resources necessary to make sure we can handle it. So if and when they get to the point at the legislative level of being ready to move this, then we can all advocate there through our state rep and our state senator, who are going to be intimately involved in the process.
Thank you. Councilor Sargent?
Again, I would like to, we're telling our legislation that the Salem City Council supports both these things, and it may well be. We may vote it. I just don't support same-day registration yet, and I don't know how to. I don't want to vote against early voting. I think it's beautiful. I believe we need to educate people more on the absentee ballot also, which is early voting in another way. But so I don't know. I mean, I suppose I can do it, but it's a resolution. It's non-binding. But our state legislature is going to get that, and it's going to say Salem supports this. And we don't know all the ifs and buts. And, I don't want to put names on people who alleged. I read a lot of stories about it in different and heard personal accounts of things that went on in New Hampshire that I won't speak in public about. So, thank you.
Okay, so how do we just, Councilor McCarthy,
Is there a second?
to split it? No. Okay,
I'll second.
great. Okay, so have a motion on the table to split the resolution. Okay, so we will just vote on splitting the resolution, and then we will vote on the resolution, however it comes out. How's that? Okay. So, all in favor of splitting the resolution? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed? Opposed. Matter does not carry. Okay. Now, all those in favor of Councilor Terrell's motion to adopt the resolution for early voting and same-day registrations. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. All those opposed?
Present.
Okay, matter carries. Amendment? Page 8.
In conferring with the city solicitor, a letter filed by the mayor that was timely filed for the agenda should have been on the agenda under communications from the mayor per the city charter, section 55, and not under mayor's informational page. The mayor's veto of an order relative to the city council order which was adopted on February 22nd, 2018, relative to a meeting feasibility study for an early childhood facility and elementary school on Salem State University campus.
No action for 7 days per the charter. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Madam President. The City of Salem and the City Council, March 8th, 2018, ordered that the Director of Park, Recreation, and Community Services raise the Irish flag at Raleigh Plaza on March 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2018, in honor of St. Patrick's Day. And I move for adoption.
Fantastic. And so, Councilor Flynn moves for adoption. Under discussion?
Yes, I'd just like to add that it's an honor for me to bring this forward. This is a tradition that started in Ward 4 by former councilor Lenny O'Leary, who is someone I always looked up to. I think he was really, really a stand-up guy and a gentleman. And I think he is part of the reason that I'm sitting here today. He gave me something to look forward to and a chance to be a councilor someday. So I really think this is a great thing. I think it's a great tradition, and I'm sure he's looking down on this today, and very happy.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a beautiful celebration, and I think that, as you well known, past February was the celebration for the independence of the Dominican Republic. So I'm very happy to see not only one community, but all the community. This is the beauty of Salem, when we can celebrate everybody's tradition, and I think this is a great initiative by Ward 4, so I commend to that and I applaud. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Sargent.
Well, I hope it's many, many, many years and many children and great-grandchildren from now, but someday some young Dominican councilor is going to be standing up talking about Councilor Dominguez the way Councilor Flynn just talked about Councilor O'Leary. And Councilor O'Leary and Councilor O'Keefe were, of course, both of Irish descent, and they both died in the line of duty. They both died as sitting city councilors, so they pretty much gave their life for the city, and they worked for it till the day they died, so that's another good reason. I always think of them on St. Patrick's Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Flynn's motion for adoption, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Councilor Peterson.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem, in the year 2018, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 57A, Parking Time Limited Unmetered Zone. Jefferson Avenue, easterly side in front of number 247 Jefferson Avenue for a distance of 20 feet, 15-minute parking, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. as marked by a sign, 1 space. Signpost to be installed on the property line between 247 Jefferson and the Tin Whistle. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter.
And you move for adoption?
I move for adoption.
For first passage?
For first passage, please.
Councilor Peterson moves for adoption for first passage. Under discussion?
Yes, the owner of the convenience store that is there reached out because parking has become a challenge in that area for a few different reasons, and was asking to just have a spot right in front of the convenience store where people could run in and out for a short time. And I spoke with the owner of the Tin Whistle right next door, and he was fine with it. And so I think it's a great thing. The lieutenant looked into it and said it made a lot of sense. So
thank you.
We should pass it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Peterson's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem, year 2018, ordinance to amend ordinance relative to traffic. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, repeal Laurel Street, northerly side starting at a point of 20 feet west of Hazel Street and continuing in a westerly direction for distance 20 feet, handicap parking only tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter, and I move for adoption first passage.
Councilor Terrio moves for adoption for first passage. Under discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Terrill's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Terrill.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem, City Council, March 8, 2018, order that the Powers and Sullivan reports on federal award program year ended June 30th, 2017 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Move for adoption. Councilor Terrill moves for adoption. Under discussion?
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Terrill.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem City Council, March 8, 2018, ordered that the comprehensive annual financial report for fiscal year ended June 30, 2017 be referred to Committee on Administration and Finance, and I move for adoption.
Councilor Terrill moves for adoption. Under discussion?
No real discussion, but I will say, for the benefit of the new councilors especially, take your copy of this home and read it. It's the financial report of the entire year, fiscal year past, with everything closed out and all the information finalized, and it's very valuable.
On Councilor Terrill's motion that this be adopted, all those in favor? All those opposed, matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Madam President. With all due respect, I withdraw this motion. Thank you.
Councillor Sargent withdraws his motion. Committee reports. Councillor McCarthy. I'm sorry. Wait a second. Any further motions, orders, and resolutions? Councillor McCarthy, then Councillor Fury.
Thank you, Madam President. City of Salem City Council, March 8, 2018, order that the Committee on Public Health and Safety, co-post of the Committee of the Whole, that the Committee on Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, co-post of the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the status of the seawalls in the City of Salem, and that the city engineer and the mayor or her representative be invited. Also, that a copy of the structure assessment report, which I have a copy of, which I will get to the city clerk after I read it, be provided for all the members.
Under discussion?
No discussion, because it's a late file. but
Okay.
Obviously, just a personal privilege with all what went on this past, in January, and then this past tide cycle. I mean, obviously, the seawalls in the city of Salem have taken a beating, and we have a structural assessment report of the existing seawalls, and we're gonna have to step some of them up and obviously deal with them, so I thought it was prudent and timely to bring it in.
Thank you very much. On Councillor McCarthy's motion to be sent to Public Health, Safety, and the Environment, co-post of the Committee of the Whole, all those in favor?
Actually, could I have that back?
All those opposed, matter carries. Councillor Fury.
Madam President, same situation as Councilor McCarthy, dealing with the current situation that's going on now. In the City Council, March 8, 2018, ordered the Committee on Government Services meet to discuss shoveling needs of senior citizens, handicapped, special needs, to have a universal list of shovelers to avoid fines. Invited to the meeting representatives from the DPW, Council on Aging, Boys and Girls Club, Police Department, and the Mayor's Office. Late file.
Late
Thank you
file.
very much.
So, on Councillor Fury's motion to have a meeting.
Send to Government Services.
Sent to Government Services. Thank you. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Committee reports. Councillor McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. This way, get that out of the way. Oops. City of Salem, City Council, March 8, 2018. The Committee on Ordinance, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, has considered said matter and recommend approval.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion, Councilor McCarthy, no discussion. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee on Administration and Finance co-post with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of an appropriation in the amount of $250,000 within the capital outlay renovation repairs account for the replacement of 2 elevators at Museum Place parking garage, had considered said matter and would recommend approval.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Briefly, Madam President, last Thursday we sat down in the committee. We had some questions about what the plan was for the elevators and what the options were. Basically, these elevators are 40 years old and at the end of life. They are planned. There's a fairly long time cycle in getting the parts necessary to rebuild them ordered, delivered. They have to shut down one at a time to do it. It's a lengthy process. So we're looking to get this done, now in order to be ready for when the season really picks up in the fall. This means we should be done by the end of the summer. We also discussed, and actually Councilor Peterson brought forth the very good question, like rebuilding these versus building entirely new elevator systems. And we found out that would require building on another structure to the building, because we'd have to either rip out the entire elevator shaft and start over, or build a new elevator on the outside, and it would cost at least $1 million to do that. So between the repairs that we've done to the stairwells, the refurbishment of the elevators, the ongoing waterproofing work, we have made a lot of steps to extend the life of this facility. They've done a very good job with this the last few years, between automated parking and everything else, where the garage is working better than it has in a long time. And with these elevator rebuilds, they're going to be all new cabs, all new, pretty much everything except the shaft and some of the mechanisms. And this will get another couple of decades worth of service life out of them.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Terrio.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee Administration Finance co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter for an appropriation in the amount of $80,901.48 within the capital outlay renovation repairs account to be expended for additional costs at 90 Washington Street, has considered said matter and would recommend approval.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. This was also something we met on last week. This is for, there have been some changes made, partly because of the input of the Ward 7 councilor and former councilor Famico, that they had made some input on changes that were suggested. There's some of the electrical and lighting requirements have changed, and these are things that are above and beyond the scope of what we had in the initial, included within the lease. So these are a few expenses that we do have to cover outside of our regular lease cost.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Terrell.
Thank you, Madam President. City Council, the Administration on Committee Administration and Finance co-post with the Committee of the Whole, to whom was referred the matter of discussing the tax exemption agreement between the City of Salem and 65 Washington Street LLC for a period of 5 years, has considered said matter and would recommend approval.
On acceptance of the report, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Madam President. We met earlier this evening on this issue. We had a discussion with Tom Daniel, the planning director. We had the finance director here but we didn't need her services because it was pretty crystal clear when we passed the HDIP zone last year in last year's City Council to encourage redevelopment containing a housing component. This tax incentive plan was something they can apply for state tax credits with the state in this zone, and this is something that this development would like to use. As part of that, there is a city component where we have to provide a exemption agreement, and there's a whole range of options that we can give. What we have chosen to do and negotiate is the very minimum possible exemption possible under the HDIP law, which is a 10% discount, basically a 10% exemption on the increased value of the property for a period of 5 years. So over approximately 5 years, we will be exempting, if I recall, roughly $39,000 a year, I think it was, on the tax bill for it, compared to a actual tax bill of around $337,000. That's on the additional value that's being built. Right now, we get $0 tax dollars from that facility. So for the first 5 years after this is built, instead of assessing them at what would be a current tax rate based on our estimated value of $374,692.50, we will instead be assessing on an estimated value of $337,223. And again, that's for a 5-year period. Then that expires, and then it goes up to full value. The idea behind this is that this exemption will help finance some of the work they have to do additional there for remediation on the site.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Fury.
Madam President, sometimes in elective office, we have the opportunity to make a difference in the city of Salem that we love, and we serve in this board and the city council. And this is one of the votes that we can really have an impact. We can really see a change in the future of the dynamics of the downtown Salem. This far-reaching project will enhance and transform the old district court, which is an eyesore, the old district court, from an eyesore to a vibrant and exciting project that involves housing and commercial development. Part of an entrance corridor, a bus station across the street, a train station across the street, 1A, Bridge Street, courts being revitalized, Tabernacle Church being revitalized. I think what we do tonight is going to have a direct effect for generations to come. And the developer, Diamond, is in the, thanks for patience. It's been a long meeting. Democracy is not easy and clean. And for you to stay, and I mentioned at the subcommittee meeting, you gave up your birthday, one meeting of the SRA that I serve as council liaison. You appeared before the Design Review Committee with pride on your project, and the developers are here, and your professional staff are here. Amazing. I'm so excited. And I told you, Diamond, the developer, I would love to live there. It'd be a window on Main Street, a window on the future of Salem, making Salem 24/7, a vibrant, active, a place to live and a place to do business. So thank you for taking the time and effort being here today, and I think you're going to make a big difference in Salem, and thank you for making a signature statement to that area. Thank you very much, Diamond.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on the adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Communications from city officials, none. Petitions.
We have a petition from National Grid and Verizon to install one jointly owned pole and relocate one jointly owned pole on Swampscott Road.
Hearing ordered March 22nd, 2018. Further petitions.
We have a list of license applications for public guides and taxi cab and limousines.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that they be granted.
Council McCarthy moves that these be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion, Madam President.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have license applications for pawnbrokers and tag day.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Licenses, Ordinances, and Legal Affairs.
Council McCarthy moves that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. Under discussion.
No discussion, Madam
Seeing
President.
no discussion on Council McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have two claims.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Licenses, Orders, and Legal Affairs.
Council McCarthy moves that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. Under discussion.
No discussion, Madam President.
Seeing no discussion on Council McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have one sign bond.
Council McCarthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that this matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved.
Council McCarthy moves that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and returned approved. Under discussion.
No discussion, Madam President.
Seeing no discussion on Council McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Council Fury. Oh,
Well, just one thing,
Councilor
please.
Sargent.
Please, Madam President, just two quick things. One is apologies for being a little short on the meeting earlier. A little out of character, and my apologies. I was...
My apologies as well.
No, you're forgiven. Just always. Just I was referring to one ordinance, and it was going on about another ordinance, and I got a little short, and I apologize. And then the second, more important thing, today is somebody's birthday.
I wonder who? Whose birthday could it
It's the city
be?
clerk's birthday. And Eileen tells me she's 35. So I'm going with that. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Okay, now, I'm all set.
Okay. Councilor Fury.
Madam President, motion to adjourn?
Councilor Fury motions to adjourn. All those in favor? All those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Cake,